Hey folks, welcome back to my channel. I'm Allie McWowie and I am back after a sabbatical, I suppose. So since I'm getting back into making these videos, I kind of wanted to start from the beginning. And so we are going to Reddit today to answer some more questions from people who maybe just now are starting a ketogenic diet or have been on it for a while and maybe have seen some hiccups. Let's see what they asked. One quick interjection before we start. I really want to create this video about Ozempic. I'm trying to get as much research as I can. I wanted to share my thoughts, but I also wanted to see what you guys thought about these weight loss drugs that have been out now for the past couple years. So if you have any thoughts on it or any experiences with these GLP-1 medications, please let me know down below. I want to share some of y'all's thoughts or experiences in that new video, so let me know what you think down below. All right, let's get into this. This first post is from the loseit subreddit. Does losing weight actually make people feel better? Well, just off the bat, yes. In my own experience, when I was 320 pounds, I felt awful. I'm pretty sure I was pre-diabetic. I had this ring of darker skin around my neck. I was kind of sort of living in Montreal, which is a really big walkable city, and I was having so much trouble walking to the grocery store, maybe 6 or 7 blocks away from the apartment where we were staying. I just felt so horrible. You know, the apartment that we were in was 3 floors above the street, and so walking up those stairs every day got me so winded. I just felt so unhealthy. I had a numbness that was happening in my fingertips, and I'm not sure if that was because at that point in my life I was very lazy, so I was always laying on this side of my arm, or if it had something to do with some type of pre-diabetic neurological issues going on. I was just in a rough state, you know, and it wasn't just physical, it was emotional. But when I started losing weight, I felt so amazing. I finally felt like I could do something about my health, about my appearance, and how I felt about myself. And then once the weight was off and I reached my goal, I just felt like so many opportunities had opened up in my life. I felt like people treated me better as a person, even though I was the same person. Well, okay, same person, you know, personality wise, but I think I was a totally different person because I had more confidence in myself and I just felt better about who I was. And I think that I projected that to other people and they responded well to it. It was kind of like a cycle. You know, you're more confident, so people are receptive to that, which makes you more confident, and it just goes around in a circle. But anyways, back to this post, because I kind of got off on a tangent. I've been thinking about something and wanted to get some perspectives. A friend of a friend is getting gastric bypass surgery, and their therapist said something that really stuck with me. Apparently, lots of people lose weight, but don't actually feel happier afterward. That caught me off guard because I've always thought that weight loss equaled happiness. Isn't that what we're all told? Interesting. Just going off this first part of the post, I think losing weight can solve a lot of issues in your life, you know, health, how you feel about yourself, etc. But it's not going to solve every issue. You know, if you have financial issues, that might not solve anything. If you feel depressed because you don't have a lot of friends, you have to go out there and make the friends. If you feel alone, you know, you need to try and connect with people. Losing weight on its own won't solve those issues. Now I'm wondering, does losing weight really make people feel better, or is it more complicated than that? I get that losing weight can boost health and confidence, but I guess if other stuff like mental health, relationships, or just life isn't sorted, maybe the happiness doesn't always follow. If you've lost weight, I'd love to know, how did it actually feel? Did it change your happiness in the way you thought it would? I love the fact that I lost weight. It did improve my life. My life is 10 times better than it was, maybe 20, 30 times better. It's really honestly hard to remember. I reached my goal weight in 2017. I started the diet in 2015, so I'm almost at my 10-year anniversary of starting my weight loss keto diet. And from the very beginning, it changed my life in better ways. I felt more in control of things. And when you feel like you're in control of something as big as your health and your appearance, it really makes you see that you have control in other aspects of your life. Like I did want to be more outgoing. I felt like I could reach out to people. The confidence boost did make me feel like I had control about what I wanted my life to sort of look like. You know, if you're in a lot of debt, just losing weight won't help, but it might let you see that you have control over things. It might let you see that you can control your spending, or you can control how much you save, or you can have the confidence and the energy to go get a second job to get yourself out of debt. So I do think that there are secondary effects of taking control of your health and your life. Here's a response. Context. I'm almost 40, a mom, and lost 100 pounds. Tried losing weight my whole life, didn't succeed until after I sorted my mental health and was happy as I was, regardless of physical size. For me, happiness was a prerequisite for weight loss, not a consequence. That's interesting because for me, I kind of had to hit rock bottom. I had to be in like my lowest place. This person is saying that they needed to find happiness outside of their weight goals. But feeling better, I feel so much better. I used to have to go move around with 100 extra pounds on me. That's like 2 feed bags. Just existing in my body is more comfortable. Exercising feels amazing instead of hurting. I can dance with my kids and chase after them. I have so much energy. I fit in chairs and roller coasters. I cannot express how much better I feel after weight loss. But again, I couldn't lose weight until I loved myself and my body enough to find it worth saving. Happiness and mental health came first. And then somebody replied, I think a lot of people can't lose weight because they are depressed, but the problem is framed in reverse. So they're depressed because they can't lose weight, I think is what they're trying to say. Yes, I think it's both. For me, especially in my experience, I was depressed because I couldn't lose weight, and I couldn't lose weight because I was depressed and had no motivation and no goals and no aspirations to better myself. Somebody else said, in my opinion, it's just less to be unhappy about. Weight loss will not create more happiness, but being a heavier weight carries more reasons to be unhappy, if that makes sense. If you have a lot of reasons to be miserable besides your body, then those don't change when you become thin. Yeah, I second that. But I do think losing weight can affect change and motivation in other aspects of your life because you see that you have control over something big, something that affects who you are and your identity. And now we're gonna switch over to the keto subreddit. What am I doing wrong? I've been doing keto for 20 days now and I have not lost anything. I'm averaging 20 to 30 grams of carbs and about 1,800 calories a day. Some days I've had closer to 2,200 calories, but always kept my carbs below 35 grams. I'm trying not to get discouraged. Any advice? Okay. So just to point out, it's kind of hard to give advice if you're not sure the height and weight of this person, age, things like that, or what types of foods they're eating. Are they using a gram scale? Are they logging that food and to lose it? It's really important to be accurate with these numbers, and it's hard to give advice or help if you're not sure about the specifics. So let's see what other people said or if they replied with those specific details. The top comment said, aside from basic diagnostic questions about your age, sex, weight, macros tracking, important details for weight loss, are you eating much in the way of keto substitutions for otherwise carby foods like keto breads and bars? That's a good point. People often begin their diets with those as go-to staples in order to make the transition and overall experience easier. But aside from many of them having hidden carbs, many people find themselves stalling, not losing, even on keto-friendly ingredients. It's often a huge culprit behind people's lack of progress, and certainly was for me. I will say, because this person brought it up, when I started keto, I did use a lot of substitutes. I was making all the fun stuff, pork rind nachos. That was like my dinner there for a while, and I was loading it up with all the fatty things, sour cream and cheese and meat and all the good stuff. And the pork rinds themselves are basically all fat. So it did take a while to transition from those like fun keto foods into like the normal diet keto foods, into just kind of a more varied vision of what keto was going to be for me. But yes, I do second the part about, keto substitutes having hidden carbs and a lot of calories. When I first started keto, all I heard about was fat bombs, and they sounded so good. I never really made a fat bomb. Like when I was trying to lose weight, the closest I ever got to that was for Christmas. I would make like this peanut butter fudge, brownie thing. And that was basically a fat bomb. I didn't intend it to be. It just was because of the ingredients that it had in it. But they are going to be a little bit carbier. You're going to introduce artificial sweeteners with sweet fat bombs like that, or sweet treats that could kind of stall you. They might make you gain some water weight. They might actually affect your blood sugar more than you think. I have tried different sugar alcohols over the past decade. The one that I find doesn't really affect me much is Splenda. I think that one is sucralose, but there are other ones that will definitely kind of affect you more depending on your body. So it's important to try and check these variables, see what might be holding you back. Somebody said, 35 grams sounds like a lot. Where do they come from? And are they net or whole carbs? We don't know. Are you weighing your portions? How do you know that your calorie total is accurate? If you're on the road, are you sure of the way they're cooking your food? or the sugars in the marinades. Yeah, so we just need more info. I want to help, but we got to know the details. Ooh, I found the details lower in the post. Okay. 30, male, 5'11", 340 pounds. I haven't strictly tracked anything besides carbs, which stay under 35 grams. I haven't been tracking more than my calorie and carb intake. You gotta be strict. At 340 pounds, even if you just cut out like the main offenders, bread, sweets, pasta, all, potatoes, all the carby stuff, you should probably see such a decrease in your overall calorie take at 340 pounds that you would probably see weight loss without having to track your calories, just because you're naturally cutting out those foods. So you could be losing 1,000 calories a day and decreasing your intake naturally just by cutting those out. But I know some people also say, I'm on keto. I'm gonna eat all the fat I want as long as I don't eat potatoes, And so then they might overeat, which is totally possible. So you have to be sure that you know what your base calorie needs are so that you can maintain your weight where you are, and then be sure to remain under that, or else you might not see any weight loss, even in the beginning stages and even at a higher weight. This next post kind of caught my eye because I was like, oh, I can share that. Let's see. It says, a typical keto diet. I, 36 male, have recently thought about trialing keto. I was wondering if people would share with me their typical diet. I've had some trouble picturing what my typical food would be. I've read a lot about it, but no resource has been a good fit so far. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Thanks in advance. Okay. It will kind of depend on what your goals are. If you are looking for weight loss, maybe try and alleviate your type 2 diabetes, just eating a different diet, trying something out. Maybe it'll make you feel better overall. All those things will kind of factor in what types of foods I would recommend. But let's say that this person is looking for a ketogenic weight loss diet. I would say you might want to start this diet in stages. And I'm just going based off of what I've done, that's my experience, that's all I know. Take a couple weeks just to cut out the main offenders, all the no foods, focus on the yes foods. And I would even say try and make some of those more fun yes foods like the pork rind nachos, just to change your tastes. See if cutting out the carby foods is something that you can sustain. But once you get past that initial shock and you might lose some water weight, I would say try and focus more on the basics. And so those basic foods are gonna revolve around the 3 main rules I always say for keto weight loss. Maintain 20 net grams of carbs or less per day. Be sure that you are at a calorie deficit for weight loss, and then also make sure that you hit a protein goal. Those are my 3 main rules. And so basically you can fit lots of keto-friendly foods around those goals. And I would say a 4th rule actually is to always be able to adapt. Sometimes you're just gonna get tired of things. Sometimes you don't want breakfast anymore, so you're just gonna start eating lunch and dinner only. Sometimes you'll be on the road, so you might have to adapt your calorie goals for a couple days. But if you hold those main rules in your mind, eating around those can definitely be feasible on a keto diet. So let's get into some examples. Back when I started keto in my first couple years, I had a very small breakfast. I didn't wake up very hungry. So I would start the day with 2 cups of black coffee and some cheese. I was really into gorgonzola and blue cheese. It was all fat, the coffee gave me some caffeine to start the day and wake me up. The cheese, is all fat, so it got me to lunch. And it wasn't a lot of cheese. It was like an ounce or 2. 28 grams to 56 grams, depending on how I was feeling. But then I would get to lunch and it would basically be all protein. And so I would do low-fat beef patties, like the 93% beef, make just 2 burger patties, might add some mustard on there, or turkey sausages. I would have 2 of those for 300 calories, and that was 2 grams of carbs because I had trace amounts of sugars in there. But my lunch was basically high protein. And then I got the majority of my carbs in my dinner. So I would have these big vegetable sides. I would probably go up to 15 grams of net carbs just in vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower and big salads. I would add in fats for flavor. I would add in cheese and salad dressings in a strategic way. The carbier vegetables like onions would be sprinkled on the salad or added to a stir fry for flavor. And then also more protein in the nighttime to keep me going through the rest of the night and through the next morning too. And so I've been kind of following that. Right now I've cut out my breakfast again. I don't eat cheese in the morning. I don't eat anything in the morning. I just have my 2 black cups of coffee. Last month I was doing an avocado at lunch. It's mostly fat, lots of fiber, Felt good, felt right for me at that point in time. Now I'm back to my turkey sausages, which is high protein and very low carb. So, I think you should eat the foods that you like as long as they fit into the rules of ketogenic weight loss. When I started, I was eating lots of processed meats because I was a student teaching, so I couldn't have a job. I was working all day. I had very little money, so I was eating like pepperoni and like deli ham and string cheese, right? It wasn't the best diet, but it still worked. And so you can still incorporate pretty much any food into keto. The top comment said, for me, simple is good. I agree. I've been skipping breakfast as an intermittent fast, but typically it would be eggs. Lunch, I make a tray of chicken tenderloins or breasts in the oven at the beginning of the week and keep them in the fridge and warm them up. Add a salad with oil and vinegar or some leftover veggies. So sounds high protein, very low carb for lunch. Snacks, olives or some jerky. Watch the sugar with jerky. Very true. Why jerky? Why? Or a chunk of cheese. Dinner, more of the chicken or pork loin or sausage or steak. Broccoli or cauliflower steamed, or green beans, more salad or olives. Is this person me? Oh my goodness. I don't eat after dinner. No science involved. It's just what I do. Yeah, you're just gonna find your own groove. Oh my gosh, this person is like exactly who I am. I forgot snacks and desserts. Snacks, yes, pickles are great. Olives are great. They give you a lot of taste for very few calories and carbs. So I'm a fan of very tasty things that won't affect calories or carbs. I really don't do snacks much. If anything, I'll kind of like eat the cheese right before I use it for cooking a little bit. I try not to snack throughout the day. I want to feel hungry when I eat. And that's something that I've learned to really help me tame my hunger. Like, I don't just want to eat at noon because it's lunchtime. I want to eat lunch when I'm hungry. So if I haven't felt that hunger, I'm trying not to eat. So I don't like to keep snacks around. Same thing with dinner. Sometimes when I get off work, I am ravenous, and I like that. It means that I had just enough food to get me going for lunch, and I'm not overeating, so it's keeping me on track. That's just me. Some people might not like that, but I do. A lot of the other comments have things like eggs and bacon and chicken thighs with skin, salmon, avocado, bacon, salad. And so those are the things that are a little bit more high calorie because they have a higher fat content. If you are starting out on a ketogenic weight loss diet, it'll be easier to incorporate those higher fat foods and meats. But when you get closer to your goal, you might find that you stall. And so you may want to make the switch over to leaner meats. Instead of chicken thighs, maybe chicken breast. Instead of bacon, maybe a sausage that has more protein than it does fat, things like that. Well, I hope that answered some questions if you are starting a ketogenic weight loss or just looking for some tips to help maintain or some new ideas. It's great to be back, y'all. I feel good. I have something to focus on, during the week. It kind of stimulates my brain to try and think of these videos. And like I said, I really do want to make a more investigative video revolving around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic and Wegovy. So once again, if you have any thoughts or experiences with those, please let me know down below. And do you have any extra advice for those posters from Reddit when it comes to weight loss or keto? What are your thoughts? Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see you again. My name's Allie. Have a good one. Bye.